I think it's an initiative that's really highlighting the efforts that not just the youth, but people from all walks of life, all ages, doing to do something about deconstructing all these complex problems that we face, rather than just continuing to live our lives as serving a large economic system. I think it's an initiative that really highlights the fact that there are possibilities even in a very compromised situation of our urban lives. So I think it does become a ray of hope for people to see that there are people who have gone beyond their private life and are doing something of a public nature. So I think it can be very encouraging. It can also serve as an example for those who've been on the fence of leading a more public life, who've till now been perhaps more concerned with just their family, their friends, and their small network. So I think it's a great initiative because of that. And what I like even more than these two attributes is the fact that it's very local. It's very specific to the city. It, I think, comprehends the issues of the city really well. It's not trying to just look at the most extravagant and most sort of high decibel kind of initiatives. It's really going down to a very grassroots level and identifying and unearthing a lot of meritorious efforts that are going on. So yeah, I think it's a great initiative. Yeah, I think the jury process was actually co-created. What I loved about it was there was a sense of spontaneity and a presence of mind. There was a general framework that we all had in mind about what we would consider as initiatives that deserve a little bit more prominence than the other ones. So I think that was a good balance of spontaneity and some structure. What I also liked was that we all first recognized and accepted that every initiative, no matter whether it was an individual, on a crusade against an issue in their particular street or their neighborhood, compared to something at a city level, all of them were well-intentioned. And I think we held that in our consciousness all through the process. So even when we were, quote unquote, eliminating somebody, we were very aware of how this must be done very sensitively with a lot of deliberation and compassion. So I think it was a very well-balanced process. And I think it's also a good template to follow from here on, because it is a very transparent process. It is, to a great degree, very objective, and is an example of democracy sort of being applied in the way we want to see it applied at maybe higher levels of governance and those kinds of things. So,
about the 10 that were selected, what do they mean?
Right. Yeah, it was quite a challenging task to be confronted with so much hope and so much initiative, so much conviction, drive, belief. From amongst them, my leaning and the leaning of, I think, a lot of the jurors was the people who had deconstructed whatever issue they were grappling with. They had deconstructed it to some degree to take it down to the root causes rather than just the symptom of the problem. So initiatives that address that very deliberately, and also initiatives that were trying to imagine a world where they personally might stop doing this because of once you've grown up to a certain age, or you've exerted your energies through your entire life. How can this idea endure and continue in the consciousness of the city? So we selected those organizations or initiatives that had that kind of sustenance in their mind, or were trying to achieve system change. So that's the two key pillars that I think influenced our decision. And finally, efforts that were participative in nature, rather than just being a concern of one person's view of what to do about something. So we tried to even select those kinds of organizations that had participation at its root. Yeah, thanks.
I think this 4th edition of Angels of Mumbai is a fantastic initiative overall. In terms of recognizing the work done by individuals as well as organizations, young people and old, equally, covering all the important issues that are very relevant to the current Mumbai. So I think it's a fantastic platform for all these voices to be amplified.
Tell us a little bit about the jury process. What did you think the jury discussions were like today? What was your experience?
I would like to actually give kudos to the FPJ team here to have organized such a fantastic jury process. It was very well structured, with all the dockets provided beforehand to us to make our pre-reads far easier and the discussion to be more structured and productive for us to arrive at that final 10, which I tell you was not a very easy process. It was very difficult. But the criteria that we used as part of the jury selection was very objective. What we largely looked at was, the clarity, the purpose with which the initiative was being run, be it as an organization or as an individual. What kind of systemic impact was it looking to create? The future possibilities and potential for sustainability and the work to continue on ground as well.
Any last thoughts about the 10 who were selected? Your feelings about 10?
I'm very proud of the fact that I live in Mumbai where such fantastic work is being taking place. I think it was very, like I said, it was very tough to arrive at that final 10. But I think we as a jury, all the members of the jury have taken conscious effort to ensure that any neglected cause as well as causes that needed that prominence, to come out to the forefront to all Mumbaikars has been covered. And and we are hoping this work continues forever. Thank you.
I think this is a much needed initiative where we are actually celebrating good work. It's often not done, very easy to criticize. And I think we're very happy to be part of this where you're really looking at good work. And there's so much good work out there. So I think it's very valuable. And the more we see of these sorts of celebratory and recognition processes, the better it is. The jury process was quite participatory. We took a lot of time and it sometimes felt a little difficult to sit in judgment over very, very impactful work. But at some point we did try to apply some lenses to understand what we felt would be the differentiators. But very participatory, very detailed. And I'm glad that if we did open up to this process, I think that was very important that it happened this year. And it brings in some amount of rigor, I think, to this work. So really positive development there. In terms of who we felt, were final 10, I think we were looking at groups and people who understood, structural causes of issues, who understood the need to tackle issues at systems levels, to work in collaboration, both with communities as well as with the state and other groups of people. So I think these were some of the things that we did look at. We also tried to look at in the final 10 a spread across issues to, because we do see these 10 as being encouragement and motivation for other angels coming forward in the next years. And we try to keep that mix alive. But we're very excited to have these 10 come up and share their work, and very thankful also to be part of this process.
Hi Nitya, tell us about Angels of Mumbai, what you think about Angels of Mumbai, any impressions that you have about our initiative?
I think it's an amazing initiative. I never heard of this before, but now that I've come in contact with this and I've seen how the entire process has panned out, I think it's a beautiful initiative that I hope it goes on for a few years very successfully.
Tell us about the jury process today. What was the jury meeting? What were the discussions like? What was your experience being part of a jury member?
So I really think that it was a well thought about jury, that you actually took the effort to bring in people from various spaces to think about these angels of Mumbai and look at them from a very objective perspective from their own space of work. So I really thought, and the way we worked together collaboratively was very effective, and I think we chose with a lot of objectivity in mind.
Tell us about the top 10, the 10 that have been selected by the jury. What are your impressions about the 10? If you'd like to say anything about the criteria that you used, or if you would just like to say anything that you feel about the 10 that was selected.
To start with, again, I think that we followed a process that we made sure that we are looking at different areas of their work, and we chose people who have who have a clarity of thought, who know what they are doing, why they are doing it, and how is it going to affect the residents of Mumbai. I was very encouraged to understand that there are so many people working in this space, and I think that itself is a great thing.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Nitya.
Thanks a lot.